25.
7 Psychopaths. Welcome to the Extended Cut Podcast. Today we will be talking about Martin McDonagh's 2012 film, 7 Psychopaths.
Is that how you say his name?
McDonagh? McDonough? I think it's McDonough. Are we going to look this up? There's a site where you can look up how to pronounce people's names.
I always read it as McDowell, but there is an N in there. It's McDonough.
He's an Irish guy. Can we just get a round of applause for the Irish people out there? We're here to support you. We love your country. There's no snakes over there, and we love alcoholism.
There's no snakes?
There's no snakes in Ireland.
Let's move to Ireland.
Dude, I want to move to Ireland, dude. I hate
That's
snakes.
Sick. Yeah. Is Martin McDonagh from Ireland?
I think so. Because he's going to make another movie with Colin Farrell and Brandon Gleeson.
Of course.
All right, so what we should probably start with is a plot synopsis.
Oh, here we go.
Here, let's try to say it at the same time.
Okay. All right, that's
just
a good
our
idea.
different renditions of the plot synopsis. We just talk at the same time. 3, 2, 1. The story revolves
so the main
around
character,
a guy
he's Colin
who's a
Farrell.
screenwriter, but he also has a drinking problem because he's Irish.
And he's trying to make this movie about
Sam
these
Rockwell,
7
who's
psychopaths, which is of course
Sam
the title
Rockwell's
of the movie.
A dog borrower, as
and
he
he's
likes to
got
call
this
himself,
best friend
but he's
who's
a dog
kind of annoying,
kidnapper.
you know. He's kind of like
and,
the comedy relief.
He works
in the movie.
with Christopher Walken, and he kidnaps dogs in LA. That was like when the Safdie brothers accepted that. Whatever.
I could not keep my train of thought for all of that. I was like so lost. But that's going in. That we're keeping that in. So yeah.
The movie centers around a screenwriter named Marty.
Well, it's kind of interesting that he named his main character after him because the movie has this really.
You're right. He did name his main character.
You
after
just
him.
now realized this?
Yeah, I just now realized.
Because the whole movie is about him writing the movie, but he added like all these extra sparks and flair, which I really want to get into later because I have a lot to talk about that. But we're doing the plot synopsis.
Martin is a screenwriter, and he has a drinking problem because he's Irish.
He doesn't have a drinking problem. He just likes drinking, Michael.
That's a good one. He's best friends with Billy Bickle, who's played by Sam Rockwell. Martin's played by Colin Farrell, by the way.
Of course.
Who. Beautiful man, very expressive eyebrows. Reminds me of my dog.
Thick eyebrows. Reminds me of Mitchell. We're gonna talk about Mitchell every episode because he is a beautiful boy. He does kind of look like your dog.
Dude, yeah, he has the eyebrow thickness of Mitchell,
and
then the eyebrow like expressiveness as Bruno.
Yeah. Because
like Bruno can make his eyebrows into literal like almost vertical lines. There's a couple of times in 7 Psychopaths.
Yeah.
His eyebrows are literally like. Making a V.
They go straight up.
I love it. But Billy Bickle works with Hans. Not gonna pronounce his last name because I'm not
Kowalski,
Polish.
like the penguin.
Koslowski or whatever.
No, it's you got it right actually.
Koslowski, right?
Yeah, Kowalski.
Billy Bickle steals dogs with Hans Koslowski to give them back when there's a wanted poster or a missing poster.
Yeah, they got
so
a
they
little
can
business.
make money off of it. Yeah,
it's real efficient. However, they make a little mistake.
They steal
basically a mafia boss.
What is his name? It's like
Woody
Chris.
Harrelson.
It's like Chris in the movie or something.
Oh yeah, his character is Charlie. Charlie Costello.
Charlie Costello, who was a mob boss. They steal Charlie Costello's Shih Tzu.
In what appears to be an accident, but we find out later it was purposeful. And then, so the whole movie is basically just this mob boss going crazy mode, John Wick trying to hunt down his dog.
Going sicko mode trying to find his dog.
And he basically finds out it's Sam Rockwell, Christopher Walken, and Colin Farrell. So he's just hunting them down the whole movie, trying to kill him. And while this is all going on, Colin Farrell, Marty, is trying to write this screenplay for this movie that's kind of overdue. Like, the studio keeps harassing him. It's called 7 Psychopaths. So he's trying to come up with all these different psychopaths. And,
the thing is Marty doesn't want it to be like every other action movie. He wants it to be about
He wants it to be something special,
Which, at this point, just write the action movie and then focus on your next project being about peace.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if you're late for the project... Like, if they're harassing you every single day trying to get the project from you, write the stupid project.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's not that great or not. They'll take anything they can get. Because they're not going to just drop it. I mean, think about it. They're not going to just drop the project if they themselves promised a production company that they'll come up with a script. You know? But, yeah. And then... at the beginning, it seems like this is all accidental, and they just ooh, they stole the wrong Shih Tzu. They messed with the wrong Shih Tzu or something. That's the like.
Oh yeah, the tagline is horrible. It's called like, "They won't take any Shih Tzu."
Yeah.
I want to
it's
die.
such a stupid tagline, and they take Kaya and they take the mob boss's girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and they make them seem like they're gonna be like important parts of the story, but they're not.
That's my favorite thing is that when Christopher Walken's like, "You gotta work on your women characters. They're horrible."
Most women I know can string a sentence together. But yeah, I mean, it's a great movie.
It really is.
But for a majority of the film, you think it's all an accident, and then it's revealed that Billy Bickle, Sam Rockwell's character, wanted to give Colin Farrell inspiration to write the script, so he stole Charlie Costello's dog on purpose, so that way he would come after them.
Yeah, he's also having sex with his wife, with Charlie Costello's wife. And there's all sorts of horrible things, and we find out later that Billy is in fact one of the psychopaths. That he's actually the first psychopath that's introduced in the first scene, who kills
Michael Pitt.
Yeah.
And
dude,
other guy.
that's the guy from A Serious Man. I love that actor. Have you seen A Serious Man? Oh, he's great. Michael Stolberg. I don't know. The whole movie is kind of like an adaptation situation. Have you seen Adaptation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Seven Psychopaths is super similar because it's about Martin McDowell in a way writing Seven Psychopaths. McDonagh. I'm sorry. But obviously, it's not like factual, straight fact for fact, because he's being like hunted down by psychopaths for some time.
There's multiple times in the movie where Marty is like, I want the opening to be this build up for like this really good action movie, and I want them to go out in the desert and just talk.
That's exactly what happens.
Just a bunch of psychopaths talking. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what happens.
But he doesn't want that big shootout ending, and then kind of Sam Rockwell kind of pushes his hand in, which is kind of an interesting thing I think about, because he's kind of harassing Marty the whole movie to let him help him write the movie. But yeah, we get, so it's got the director, main character person basically trying to reject all these kind of standards and movie tropes, and by the end it kind of devolves into that, but it's like purposeful, and I really find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that we've gone through kind of like a brief plot summary there, why don't we talk about just kind of anything that comes to mind?
Do we have any cool fun facts about this? I have a couple. I actually have one.
Yeah?
And that's that Martin McDonagh Martin McDonagh was originally a really successful playwright in England, I think. England or Ireland or wherever he lives, wherever he resides. But I'm trying to find plays that he did, because he's really popular over there. Plays the beauty queen of Leanne, the pillow man,
the
lieutenant of Inishmore, the cripple of Inishman, the lonesome west, hangman, a skull in Connemara, a behanding in Spokane, a very, very, very dark matter. That's his latest play. But nah, this guy's been pumping out plays since 1996.
I don't have a fun fact, but I was just gonna say something about Sam Rockwell really rubs me the wrong way. Like everything I've seen him in, except this and 3 Billboards, I haven't really liked him in. I guess I kind of liked him in Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit was fine.
But
there's nothing to write home about.
I think it's because the first thing I saw him in was Iron Man 2, and that movie's pretty poo-poo.
Have you seen Green Mile?
I haven't seen that. I've seen him in... Here, this is going to explain why I hate him. Okay, I know him from Iron Man 2, G-Force, Cowboys and Aliens, and Galaxy Quest. So...
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not the biggest Sam Rockwell fan, but,
I'm a pretty decent fan.
I really like him in this movie.
I love him in this movie. I love him in 3 Billboards,
He's good in 3 Billboards, but I feel like he does the goofy character better. Like, in 3 Billboards, I feel like it was, like, almost too serious. Like, he worked with the character. Movie's great. I'm just saying. I think I kind of prefer his performances where he's a little more burning his neighbor's flag. G-Force-y. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I think Sam Rockwell works very good in this.
Yes, he does.
I like a lot of, like, his bits where it's, like, he says something like, well, why don't you call her and ask? And then Marty's like, what? He's like, well, why don't you call her and ask? I love that. It. I love that. He just says it word for word, you know? It works out great. But I do love his part in Three Billboards. Because it feels a lot more grounded. He feels almost equally as childish, but like a child who has to pretend he's not a kid anymore, you know? Like, nothing beats the scene in Three Billboards where he walks across the street and beats up the salesperson, the billboard guy.
Yeah, I will say though, Three Billboards, it does feel more grounded in reality, but in the same sense, although this movie is like really heightened and like elevated to a more dramatic movie-like standard, it's also like very grounded. Like, the characters are so over dramatized. Like, the crazy psycho mob boss who just wants his dog back is like super heightened, but at the same time you're like, yeah, but it's his dog. Like everyone has like these motives, and you kind of understand everyone, and all the characters like feel real in a sense. Like, the conversations are all really naturalistic. I really like that.
And can we take a moment to talk about Christopher Walken in this film? Christopher Walken is the best he's ever been, I feel, in this film. And I heard that Christopher Walken, this goes with the fun facts bit, Christopher Walken doesn't take scripts that are written like for him. You know, like if a person tries to write a script with a Christopher Walken accent for his character, Christopher Walken ignores it. You know, he likes taking normal scripts. So it's funny because everything Christopher Walken says is very Walken-y, you know, because he says it in such a weird way, you know. But if you look at the script for Seven Psychopaths, it's written normal. Like, the person who's saying it is talking normal. Yeah. You know? I love watching people do Christopher Walken impressions.
I guess that's not how he actually talks. He just does that for movies.
No, I mean, from what I've seen, he talks like that.
Well, I'm assuming he does it in interviews, but I've always heard that he just has a regular voice and he just does that just to be interesting. But I don't know the truth of that. Maybe
he's like us and he just learned how to read really late.
That's probably
so he's reciting lines, he's like going through it, and he can't really remember what he was saying before, you know. I think I missed a comma. And this is now
that music
a run-on sentence. I love it so much.
The music video that he's in, it's just him dancing around a house and he's like flying around.
What? I've never heard of this.
Dude, this is like the famous music video that like some band got him to be in. But I thought you knew about it because like the big thing that I just found out was that Spike Jonze directed it.
Now, Willem Dafoe can be my grandpa. Christoph Hans can be my grandpa.
They can be married.
But I don't know if I'd want Christopher Walken to be my grandpa.
Why's that?
It just seems a little scary.
He's a weird dude for sure.
If I wake up to go get a glass of water, Christopher Walken's in my kitchen, like, water, yes. I, too, drink water when I am thirsty.
Water! I love how he
enunciates. Because it's the only way I can quench my thirst when I'm tired at night. But yeah, I mean, Christopher Walken won't take scripts that are written specifically for him. He doesn't like it. I remember I saw The Deer Hunter, and Christopher Walken's in that too. I don't know if you've seen
heard
The
of
Deer
that.
Hunter, but there's like one part where Christopher Walken has his iconic accent. It's funny because they're having like a wedding for somebody, and all the guys at the wedding are going to the Vietnam War. It's like, yeah, I hope they put us right in the action. It's like, it's so Christopher Walken. It's so funny, but I can't find it online. I figured it'd be online because I don't want to rip out the Blu-ray again. Watch the first hour of that movie is so slow. So slow.
You know, Michael, you can like skip to a certain scene and like fast forward.
I have too much respect for filmmakers to do that.
All right. Well, I was saying earlier that this movie feels like, of course, like dramatized, but like fairly grounded, and like the characters all feel like real. They don't feel necessarily like actors playing characters. It feels more like an actual person like portraying like their thoughts and emotions and everything. But one thing that really pulls me out of the movie is the scene where Sam Rockwell is sitting on the couch with the mob boss girlfriend, and he just has the biggest, most obnoxious bag of like off-brand Cheetos I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so brightly colored, and like because the color grade is like so saturated, especially towards that color spectrum, the oranges and the yellows, it's just so bright, and it just says like crunchy chip or some nonsense, and it's just so clearly off-brand Cheetos, and it's so jarring.
Dude, that's the scene where he's like, you're still messing around with that mob boss. Who knows what he's giving you? And she gets offended.
He's like, I meant like chlamydia or something.
And he gets on the couch and he's like, darling, I meant like chlamydia or something.
Yeah, I love how he just keeps repeating like the same things.
Yeah, that's my favorite character quirk about him.
But yeah,
Oh shoot, you're not reading the LA Weekly, are you?
Page 163.
What? Oh shoot, you're not reading the LA Weekly, are you? I love that so much. Oh, he's so great.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's character is really, really well done.
But they all have morals.
Mm-hmm.
They all have morals, and their morals, like, really, they stick to them. Mm-hmm. Like, Christopher Walken doesn't use guns.
Yeah.
And did he want to get killed by that dude? Part of me thinks he does.
No. Well, I think he just kind of accepted it because he was going through that whole thing where, like, you know, his wife had just died. Yeah. And he was, like, eating the hallucinogenic cactus, and he was kind of coming to terms with the fact that maybe there is an afterlife. And that was kind of a big character thing. But I think the cast of characters works really well. Like, the main three characters, Sam Rockwell, Colin Farrell, and Christopher Walken, they're all very different characters, and they all complement each other very, very well. Yeah. And I think that's something that's pretty key to this screenplay.
I think you should stop drinking, Martin, if this is how you're going to behave yourself. Because he punches Sam Rockwell. Yeah. But I was watching special features on the Blu-ray, and everybody was just like, it was awesome to work with Christopher Walken, because he is like he's a pretty big guy.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say is I think it's kind of interesting how different movies work. Like, obviously something like Drive, you know, it works heavily on like the visuals and music, and that's what makes it so special. And Goodfellas has a lot of music that really works with it, but it's like it's a lot of like the characters and the atmosphere. And then this movie is like so heavily into the writing. Like, the music is almost non-existent, and when it is there, it's like not anything special.
It's for like 2 seconds.
It's generic. And if the movie was poor writing, this would be like a fault, but it just plays that kind of to its strengths in a way, because it's not focusing on that aspect. It's more like not a character study, but it's like, hey, look at what these like wackadoos are doing.
Look at this wacky situation.
They're just so wacky. They're just so quirky. They're quirky groups of friends, and they're doing wacky things.
And they're out in the desert. Dogs.
They're blowing up cars. It's cute. It's wacky. It's fun time. Awesome. Yes.
Super goofy fun times. Yes.
Is that a JQ bit we just stole? Yeah. After the second I said it, I was like, that sounds too familiar.
No, yeah, he's talking about cheat codes.
Yeah, that's what it is. And he's like, the super awesome fun time wacky. Yes. But okay, we gotta talk about the best scene, and that is, of course, the cemetery scene. That scene is so fantastic.
Flamethrower, who the hell is that?
It's up in the trees. It's the Viet Cong guy. No, it works so well because it just opens with they're just around a campfire, and it's just Sam Rockwell telling a story, but he just has this like passionate. He puts his whole
he's
like
high on peyote, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the
hallucinogenic
day?
Cactus? No, they did it that night.
Yeah, okay.
But he's just put so much into that scene, and he's just telling the story, and it just works so well as that voiceover, and it just fits in so well with his character because he's like so over dramatic, and he wants all this violence, and he wants these big shootouts, and it's like this whole thing, and it's so funny because it starts out and he's like, yeah, he's alone and he has no guns, and then they're like, wait, but why would he trust the mob boss? And then just like he instantly comes up with the whole story that there's like this big shootout, like he clearly had nothing planned.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and then it's the girl, and then the boom, 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 and then Kaya comes out, and he's like, I'm sorry for what you did. And he's like, and she just gets mowed down, and it's just the shot of her getting shot. Do, 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 do. And he's like doing all the sound effects of like the gunshots. It's so great.
Oh gosh. And then Marty, you run up to the first psychopath. And you hold him, and he's like, I just wanted to be a good friend.
Yeah.
Oh, but Jesus, Jack. But Jesus, you were a great friend. You were my best friend.
It's so great. It's so well done. It's like the movie's like constantly like acknowledging its flaws and like not breaking the fourth wall, but like constantly acknowledging that it has poor like women characters, and like it's not necessarily, it's like weak in some aspects but stronger in other aspects, and it's really fun to watch that. I really love it.
The serial killer lady gets shot. She's done.
And then
but so does the other guy.
He dies in her arms.
But the rabbit gets away.
Yeah.
Because you can't kill the animals.
Only the women.
And knowing that, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because you knew when at the end when Sam Rockwell holds the flare gun up to the mob boss's dog in the final shootout, like, you know he's not going to kill the dog because that's his own morals. He can't kill the animals, only the women.
Mm-hmm. It's very cleverly set up and paid off very effectively. Think
Sam Rockwell's the only person who kills a woman in that movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat. Uh-huh. And then it's in a way the whole movie is just a big
The mob boss kills Kowalski's wife. I'm sorry, I had to ruin that for you.
Koslowski.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about a lot. Is that I think it's kind of, I might be reading into things a little bit much here as like the ultimate film annoying nerd kid, but like the word psychopath definitely has like kind of lost its meaning because of like oversaturation. Like you could literally call me a psychopath for like brushing my teeth by putting water on the toothpaste instead of putting toothpaste on the wet toothbrush or whatever. But yeah, so the word psychopath kind of has this like oversaturation, especially in like American culture or whatnot. And I think that's kind of like, I don't know, in a way that this movie might be making kind of a statement on, because Martin McDonagh is, or what's the main character's name? It's Marty, but he has a different last name. He's always calling people psychopaths for like not really doing psychopathic things. And then at the end of the movie, you realize, like, oh, like, some of these characters, like, are genuinely psychopaths. Like, Christopher Walken, like, slitting his own throat. Or slicing his own throat.
Psychopathic.
No, Sam Rockwell, though, for sure. And,
for
like,
sure.
But it's kind of this whole... I kind of viewed it as this whole statement on, like, how, like...
Overset.
It's, like, the word has been, like, kind of lost its meaning in a way.
Yeah, it's, what's the word? It's like we aren't scared by it anymore.
Yeah.
We're desensitized.
Oh, desensitized, yeah.
Yeah.
The second you said not scared of it, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, the word psychopath is definitely desensitized in the movie.
Just putting 7 psychopaths in the title is very Hollywood, you know. It'll like attract a lot of attention. I love this scene where they're all like sitting around the campfire, and I think that's when Sam Rockwell and Christopher Walken have taken the hallucinogenic cactuses, and then Christopher Walken just goes, I would have made a great pope. What does he say? He's like, I would have been so tolerant, or whatever.
Yeah. I love when they first show them around the campfire, and it just like literally in the subtitles it just says mumbles, and it's like Christopher Walken's like, no. And then he's back to normal. He just
some of the comedy in this movie, like, it works really well. It's got like its own style to it. I really like it.
It's just each character is very comedic in their own way. Woody Harrelson is very comedic in the sense that he's overreacting. It's a dog, you know, which I love my dog, and I'd go crazy if somebody stole my dog. But this guy's going ham. This guy's going ham. God, if they would have just paid attention, where it's like, oh yeah, a dog disappears over here, but then these people give it back a couple days later. Like, then he could have just waited a couple of days and then blown Sam Rockwell's brains out when he gave back the dog. Like, if he really wanted to, he could have.
Yeah, like. But
instead, he goes on this whole just killing spree trying to figure out where his dog is. It's nuts. Yeah, and that's why the comedy works so well. Is because whether it's like the main 3 characters or the villain, they all just like complement each other and play off each other so well. It's so great.
the scene when Woody Harrelson, whatever,
Harrelson.
Carnage from the new Venom 2. Whenever,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
I haven't seen the first Venom, but I guess there's an end credit scene with him, and he's Carnage or whatever. But when he's trying to get the dog back, and Sam Rockwell shoots him in the back, and then they're driving away, and he's like, "It's just a flesh wound. It didn't hurt." Or something. They just play off each other so well. It's so great.
They all have like such distinct personalities. It's so funny. Like when he shoots him, Sam Rockwell's like, "Yeah, of course he had a gun. Like, come on." And he checks and he's like, "You said come unarmed. I came unarmed."
Yeah, he's all upset. He's like, "Why would you shoot me like that?"
Why did you shoot? Who are you?
You know? It's like, "Oh, that's my writer friend."
I love it so much. Like, you got Woody Harrelson, who's overreacting about the whole thing and could handle it very differently.
Mm-hmm. And
he kind
of at the end he does try to handle it differently. Like he brings the flair, of course, like in case things go bad. He probably did have the intention of killing Sam Rockwell after he got his dog back, but for the most part he's handling it fairly well. He's like, "Hey, I didn't come armed. Just give me the dog." And then Sam Rockwell goes full psycho mode.
Yeah. And then you got Sam Rockwell, of course, who's literally psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he's so funny because he has that quirk where he repeats everything multiple times. He's a goofy dude. He's a goofy dude in a setting where you can't have any goofy dudes.
Yeah, because he's got like that goofy charm to him, but he also just like clearly has like no understanding of like human life or like remorse or anything.
Yeah, he doesn't take things seriously enough. But it's funny because he's purposely not taking it seriously. It's very mind bendy if you think about it too much, but it's really entertaining. Yeah. If you don't think about it, just watch the movie. You got Marty. Marty's humor is more in how much of a loser he is, really.
His alcoholic humor.
Yeah, his alcoholism. It's funny how he's
more
a
like
jerk when
he's
he's drunk.
Joke. Yeah.
But he's very irritable when he's not drinking.
That's my favorite joke probably is when he finds out that Sam Rockwell Billy is a psychopath. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I did tell you at the party when you were drunk." And he was like, "You told me that?" And it's like this moment of like introspection where he's like, "Maybe I do have a drinking problem." And he's like going over like his whole life. He probably could have
told somebody. He's got me in trouble or something. I love that.
Yeah, it's just like Billy just keeps using Marty as like this like outlet for his jokes. It works so well.
It does.
Because it's never necessarily making fun of Marty, although that is what a lot of it is. But it just they play off each other very well. It's very cute. They got a good thing going.
Yeah, and then Christopher Walken's character is just amazing, where his personality is he's just some good guy Christian who hates the cops. Even saying that alone is funny.
Yeah.
Good guy Christian who hates the cops, who is having kind of a end of his life crisis, trying to figure out if there's an afterlife.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because he never raises his voice in the film. I've never seen Christopher Walken raise his voice
his wife gets murdered
at all.
And he's like completely calm.
Yeah, and that's the most best acted part of the film, when he's down in the waiting room and Woody Harrelson points at the blood on his fingers and he's like, "You hurt?" He's like, "A little." It's like, oh god, you can tell he's like not trying to cry.
And he undoes his little scarf and he's got the
cravat.
What's
Kowalski. That thing you got on your neck?
And he's like, "I don't want your cravat, man." He tries to give it to him. He just like snaps.
Yeah.
I love how, because it's kind of like I don't know, like something like Wes Anderson or Rushmore, where like all the adults kind of act like very childish, and I think that's the mob boss character. Is he's got this like really tough guy, like he kills people, but at the same time he's like, "I want my dog, man," and he'll just like throw fits. He's like, "I don't want your cravat."
Well, it's because you know why he didn't want his cravat, right?
Yeah.
Because he saw the big slice, which I love how they put that in before they talked about how he was the person in the story.
Yeah, it's got a clever structure to it. I really like it.
The film, one thing I really love about the film is how it keeps a warm color palette. Yeah. Throughout the whole thing, like even storytelling moments, where like it'll be night, but they just bring back the warm color palette by always, if it's dark, they include fire. So everything is kind of like an orangish hue.
That's what I wrote down in my notes, that it has the opposite Twilight color grade. It's everything is like shifted towards the warmer hues. Yeah. And I would say there's some shots where it's like a little too far, but it never really got like too annoying, and it definitely fit with
at the very beginning of the
film
movie.
style.
I didn't really
So
like.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah,
At the beginning of the
used to
movie, it kind of annoyed me a little bit, where it's like, why is everything so orange? Is this like a Michael Bay film? What's going on?
Yeah, there are movies that are much, much worse in terms of pushing it to like one side of the spectrum.
It's really interesting because I'm trying to think about Three Billboards, like what type of color palette it had. It had like a really drowned, warm
a lot of browns
palette.
and reds.
It was brown, red.
That's why the billboards are so striking, is because they're bright red, and everything else in the movie is kind of
very watered down.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's kind of fits with the themes of the main character struggling with cancer and
which
whatnot.
We have to go over Three Billboards one day.
I barely remember it, but yes, we do. I love that movie.
I've seen that movie more times than I can count.
I remember I just picked it up from the library one day because I remember Kyle always talking about it. And I watched it with my dad, and he had never even heard of it. And it's like one of his favorite movies now. Like, I was so happy that I was able to like show that to him. Because I got it for him for Christmas like a year ago, and he was so excited. And he leaves it next to his Blu-ray player. Because every time I come over, he's like, "You want to watch Three Billboards?" And I'm always like, "Yeah, let's watch it." But we ended up always watching something else. He gets so excited, though. He's like a little kid.
Your dad sounds awesome.
He is. But just to kind of close this out, in a structured way. Because, of course, this podcast, we're very structured here. We follow the rules. The very, very last scene of the movie, after the credits start and the credits are rolling, and then it cuts back to, like another mini scene, because he promised the one psychopath that on his life he would put like a little note at the end of the movie for him, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah, he'd put his number and then tell Maggie he's still looking for her. He's sorry.
I should have helped you kill that hippie.
Yeah.
But I love how that plays out. Is like he's like, so I'm gonna be swinging by next Tuesday, and then Martin's like, yeah, I'm not doing anything next Tuesday. Like, he's just like accepted death. Like, he's just like so over it. And then as soon as he's like fine with dying, the psychopath doesn't want to kill him anymore. He's like, actually, Tuesday doesn't work for me. I'll get back to you. It's just,
he's like, okay.
It's such a comedic scene, but yeah, it's like so heavy because it's just like everything Martin has been through. It's weighed so much on this character, and it's just like, ooh, what a good ending. It's so funny. It's like dramatic. It's ooh.
I want to talk about the serial killers for a second.
The
Zodiac
guy
thing is filled with so much symbolism. It's insane.
Elaborate.
It's surrounded by like religious imagery and stuff, saying like that this guy has like turned into a normal God-loving person. There's the Gandhi poster where it's like he wants peace. And I don't know, because like you feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Even though he was a serial killer, it was horrible, and he killed a bunch of innocent people. You feel bad for the fact that he's getting killed at that moment.
Yeah.
And like the rabbits, the rabbit dude, the rabbit licking up his blood.
Yeah.
From when he has his hand stuck to the table.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's like a white rabbit is a symbol for love and stuff. So it's like, the serial killer lady just has a bloodlust, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when what's his face, the other guy, I can't remember his name, but the serial killer guy, Zachariah, when Zachariah grabs the bunny away from the blood,
the rabbit,
it's showing that he doesn't have a love for bloodlust, but he still has a love for the girl, Maggie. Yeah. So like Maggie has a bloodlust and loves killing these people, whereas Zachariah just loves Maggie and goes along with it. You know, and in the beginning it was fun, but as he gets older and his actions weigh on him, it's like, oh God, I've been killing people. Like, we're no better than they are.
But in a way, you know, he kind of hasn't learned, because when he's telling the story about how all the people he killed, like, he's kind of like, he's not really like troubled by it. He's like, yeah, we just used to kill people for fun, like just something we did every like Thursday.
Yeah, he's troubled by the fact that he lost Maggie.
Yeah, he's more attached to Maggie, and that's what kind of makes him have those psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, it's. But that scene alone, just the Zodiac killer scene, is just so jam-packed full of symbolism.
Also, who plays the Zodiac? Just from memory.
Dude, he looks like my professor.
He looks like John Turturro. Let's see. The hippie. Richard Wharton. Okay, he's been in, like, Garbage. And then Seven Psychopaths. He's been in Thor 2, Sound of My Voice, Next of Kin, starring Patrick Swayze, The Borrower, and then, yeah. But,
It's such
a bad movie. Don't watch Seven Psychopaths. It's garbage.
I hate Seven Psychopaths. It's the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
So what would you give it? Out of 5 or out of 10?
I give it a 85 out of 17.
Oh no, Michael. That's not right. Well, I think that's all we have to say about Seven Psychopaths for now.
Thank you so much to the 45 people who watched our last video. But Can we please get that number up? Because the Drive video, which is significantly worse, is at 120.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's probably because people were just like, they made a podcast? Why? They clicked on it.
But no,
I
please,
promise you this. The podcast will be good one day.
Eventually. When we leave the garage band.
Yeah.
Because garage band ain't doing us any favors, I'll tell you.
No siree.
This is a very grassroots project we're doing right now.
Like
we
Obama.
are literally in Ian's bedroom recording this
Yes,
thing.
we are.
Like, it doesn't get more grassroots than that. I bought this mic a long time ago for gaming, and I'm just putting it to use now.
Yep.
There's literally no money going into this. We're doing it with only resources we have or we've had. We haven't bought anything for it.
Yeah.
Closest thing we've got to buying stuff for it is literally nothing. I was gonna say the red Solo cups for the water.
Yeah, but I've had those.
You've had those, so
we have the movies already.
Yeah, but this was a great one. This isn't our best. This will not be our worst.
No, it won't. I like this movie a lot though, so it was fun to talk about. Maybe one day we'll revisit. We'll obviously keep talking about it on our own, but podcast wise, you never know where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've seen other podcasts revisit early episodes, so it's like a rebuild, like Evangelion 1.11.
We're not talking about anime. Anime's bad. Let me leave you on
We're
this.
going to talk about anime eventually.
We are, unfortunately.
Because we want to have Kyle on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's a boy right there, that Kyle fella.
I really like Kyle.
I like
He's
Kyle
great.
too.
But to close off, thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more of it. And if you don't like it, don't give it a dislike, please. We have very fragile egos.
Yeah, if you have any problems with the show, if you just hate the way Michael looks or whatever,
comment.
No, just message me personally.
Message
not
me.
I will just say it directly to his face, like without any regard for his feelings. I will just berate him and insult him to no end, and I'll record it and I'll post it for you guys.
Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe, drop a subscription, I mean. Subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you want to do. I hope you had a good time. We had a good time. In a couple months, we'll review good